We have had to put up with 32 games of ineptitude from this guy, and it is finally all over. 2021 is looking far better than the last 2 years as a franchise. Adam Gase is finally fired. Jets, Jets, Jets! Welcome to Jets Talk. My name is Ryan. I'll be your pilot today. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. If you've been here before, welcome back. I love having you here. Guys, if you want to get in on the giveaways that I do on the channel for all these different shirts and possibly jerseys and tickets in the future, all you have to do is join the Flick chat down below in the description. You click on that. It's totally free to join. Also, if you want to hang out with me, Matt O'Leary, and Green Bean, we're going to be streaming the national title game, Alabama versus Ohio State. We're going to be looking at the quarterbacks and just kind of seeing what's going to happen for the Jets, talking about the head coaches, answering your questions, and just having a really good time. So make sure you tune into that January 11th, 8 p.m. We have had to wait way too long for this day to happen. Adam Gase is finally fired, and basically we've been waiting for this since the crazy-eyed press conference when he was introduced. As soon as that happened, that was the red flag, and then we had the whole sniffing salts on the sideline thing. I'm just ready to be gone and done with this guy. I don't want to have a coach that I'm embarrassed to look at in a post-game press conference, and just every interview that he does, it boiled my blood all season. And it's nice that it's finally over. Adam Gase finishes his career as the Jets head coach after just 2 seasons. He is 9-23 as the Jets head coach. In his 5 years as a head coach, so the 2 years with us plus the 3 years with Miami, 36 out of 49 of his losses have been by double digits. Ridiculous. The guy's getting blown out nonstop, considering the division that we played in. Like the Dolphins, I guess you're on the Dolphins and the Jets, so that's 2 bad teams out of the way. But the Bills and Jets have not been good over the course of his tenure in the NFC East or AFC East. So there's no reason why that should have been as low as it was. And then 27 of his 32 career wins have come by 1 score or more. So the guy does not take advantage of bad teams. He doesn't beat teams by a lot. You want to at least see a 10-win or a 10-point win occasionally here and there, and it just never happened. The guy is absolutely horrible. He has scared away star players. He has just turned people against him. The fans were just going bananas. He had made stupid decision after stupid decision and weird press conference after weird press conference. He's finally gone. He's finally gone. We can rejoice. Let's pop the bottle of champagne. Let's just, we'll shower in it and we'll celebrate for tonight. And then we are going to talk about what we're doing for the future. There's going to be a lot of questions moving forward. Who are we going to bring in as head coach? What are we going to do with Sam Darnold? For my opinion, what I would do, I think the right decision, regardless of the head coach that you make or the head coach that you bring in, I think the smart move is to move on from Sam Darnold. I don't think it's wise to give him his 3rd offensive system in just 4 years. And Joe Douglas and whoever the head coach is did not draft Sam. So I think as much as there's the thought of trading down and getting a bunch of picks and building around Sam, he's got the really high contract coming up. I think it's smarter to get the rookie contract or even just a quarterback that the head coach and the GM really want together. And then everyone's moving in the same direction. Because how many times over the course of the last few years, the last decade, have we been paired with weird sort of things? You have Rex gets stuck with Idzik, and then Gase comes in with Mac, and then Douglas gets stuck with Gase, and then there's just all this confusion. Let's get everyone moving in the same direction. Let's reset the clock. I love Sam, and I hope he goes to a really good team, and I wish him nothing but the best, but I think the smart move is to probably move on from Sam at this point. Now, that being said, you could probably talk me into a whole bunch of different scenarios, and I trust Joe Douglas, whatever his decision winds up being, but let's discuss a little bit about the head coaching search and people that I think could definitely be in the wheelhouse for the Jets. And there's 2 names specifically that I really, really want to look at. I'll go to my top option first and foremost, and that's Brian Dabo. I really like Brian Dabo a lot. He's the offensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills. He was actually the Jets quarterback coach back when Mangini was a head coach here, and he's been around the league. He's actually been to all of the AFC East division teams. He was with the Patriots for the longest amount of time. He was actually a tight ends coach when Joe Thuney was drafted by the Patriots. And that's who I would really like the Jets to target first and foremost in free agency. So maybe if you have an inside track with maybe some knowledge of Thuney, maybe he decides to come and see a familiar face here. Now, if the Jets do bring in Brian Daboll, the guy's got 5 Super Bowl rings with the Patriots, 1 ring with Alabama down with Nick Saban. So he's learned under some really, really good big-time head coaches. And then you look at what he's done with Josh Allen. It has been nothing but amazing. In the 3 years Josh Allen came into the league, he was, plagued with accuracy issues and things of that nature. And just by building the team around him and calling the plays that he's called, Josh Allen is a legitimate MVP candidate, and it's everything that we wanted Sam Darnold to be at this point in his career. The other nice thing about Brian Dabo, and hopefully who we would get as our offensive coordinator in this sort of situation, is Ken Dorsey. I really, really like Ken Dorsey a lot. He is the quarterback coach for the Buffalo Bills, so he has had Josh Allen playing at an absolutely elite level. He was also the quarterback coach for Cam Newton when Cam Newton had his MVP season in Carolina, so I think there's a really nice connection there. Not to mention, he was actually the assistant athletic director down at FIU, which is, oddly enough, the school that James Morgan came out of, our backup quarterback that we drafted this past year in the 4th round. He was the assistant athletic director there the year that Morgan transferred over, I think. They were overlapping there, so maybe there's some type of connection. Maybe he actually thinks he can do well over here. Who knows? But Ken Dorsey and Brian Dable are definitely the top option on my list in terms of rebuilding this franchise. The second option, and I think it's probably the most likely option to have happen, and that's Greg Roman. Greg Roman is the offensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens, and he has been around the league a lot. We have seen his name pop up a bunch of times. He actually interviewed last time on the head coaching circuit, didn't get a job. Him and Joe Douglas overlapped in Baltimore. He was actually the offensive line coach when Joe Douglas was an offensive line scout in Baltimore, so they know each other really well from their time there. He actually coached, now he's under John Harbaugh. He actually coached under Jim Harbaugh. He was the offensive coordinator for Andrew Luck in college, and then he went to the 49ers. He developed an offense for Colin Kaepernick, and Alex Smith, who was considered a bust at that point, wound up turning his career around under Greg Roman. Then he goes to, I want to say he was with Buffalo next. He had a really good season with Tyrod Taylor, playing well there. And then he has Lamar Jackson. He builds just a tremendous offense around Lamar Jackson. And I think when you're looking at him sort of, I don't want to say him turning water into wine, but I think there's a lot to like with the quarter. He's gotten a lot out of the quarterbacks that he's had at his disposal. And I think if you link him up with someone like Justin Fields, who has a monster arm and can run around, I think it's one of the better quarterbacks that he's been around. And I think he could definitely build a really, really strong team around Fields. So I think those are the two options that I'm really, really looking at in terms of replacing Adam Gase. And I'm just excited. I meant for this to be a shorter video, and I apologize for it being as long as it is. This should be an excitement thing. Let's just crack a bottle of champagne, have yourself a beer, kick your feet up, and just enjoy the rest of this offseason, because we have the most cap space, or second most cap space in the NFL. We have one of the most draft picks in the NFL. We're going to get a really nice head coach. We trust our GM and Joe Douglas. Guys, there is a lot to be excited about for this New York Jets team. So guys, let me know what you think of everything down below in the comments. Who is your top head coach? Who do you want? What do you want to see us do in the offseason? Let me know what you're talking about in the comments down below. And as always, go Jets.